And this is reason why 95% of AI projects fail.
Is RPA dead?
There's not enough AI resources. There's not enough compute power.
You're not just paying for the tool, right? You're paying for the experience, the guardrails, the accountability.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is VJ Thomas, and today is the first ever Autonomous Enterprise Podcast with VJ Thomas. And I'd like to welcome all of you. We've all heard about the autonomous enterprise. We've all heard about how companies can work on their own. We've seen cars do autonomous navigation, autonomous travel. We've seen for many years now vacuum cleaners, Roombas doing autonomous cleaning. And I think we've been asking, when will the enterprise get autonomous? And I think the time is now. We are at the cusp of building an autonomous enterprise. Is it going to happen right away with a switch, with a flick of a switch, or will it happen gradually? The flick of the switch is probably not how it's going to happen, but it's not going to be gradual as well. It's going to be pretty fast. And that's all what we're going to be talking on this podcast. Today is the first ever podcast. I'm going to give somebody lucky a gift if they can identify the city where I am in right now. And what's the hint? The hint is right here. It's got AN written on it. It's the best soccer team or football team in this city. I went to a game yesterday, and it was fantastic. If you're ever in the city, I would highly recommend you go to this game. In fact, if you are in any city, in any part of the world, you should go and visit a sports game. You should go and attend. So what are we going to talk today on the podcast? Today is the first ever podcast. We're going to talk about AI and RPA. RPA is robotic process automation in the enterprise. We've been talking about RPA for many years now. Maybe 10 plus years. Companies worldwide have invested tons of dollars in RPA solutions. RPA bot farms, if I may call them, made up of Blue Prism, UiPath, Automation Anywhere, now a lot of Microsoft as well. Now, those are huge investments that have gone into building these RPA systems. The big question is, are these RPA systems going to be obsolete? Are those investments sunken costs? Or with AI coming, do we have a roadmap of how we can leverage some of the investments? So today, we want to talk about a few things. I'd like to also bring in my colleague, Abhijit Chakrabarti. Abhijit is in Toronto, Canada. You obviously don't know where I am, but we'll get to know at the end of this session where I am. But Abhijit, welcome to the show. And you've been with Tangentia for the last 5+ years. I want to bring you in a kind of understand your perspective. You've sold a lot of RPA over the last many years. And now we're talking AI. And when we go to customers, many of them are asking us, is this AI going to replace RPA? And we want to just have a quick discussion. So why don't you just take 30 seconds and introduce yourself as well, and then we can have a quick conversation. Abhijit.
Thank you, Vijay, for having me on the show. And it's exciting to be on the first episode of the Autonomous Enterprise show by Tangentia. And I'm sure you'll be a great host. Yes, I've been with the organization and selling automation and AI solutions for the past 6+ years now, advising Fortune 5000 companies on how to adopt RPA, how to achieve operational excellence through automation. And now, moreover, with the advent of generative AI and agentic AI, it's kind of a idea which everybody wants to explore, but most of them are quite skeptic on how will it look like. So it is all about educating the customer, and also help them to visualize the art of possible through AI. But let me take a step back, Vijay, and I would like to kind of share my experience over the last 6, 7, 8 years of how we started with leading with robotic process automation. I would call it 1.0 version of automation, where we used to automate black screens, pull and push information through RPA, and everybody was happy. Then things became a little complicated. We got into the 2.0 generation of RPA with intelligent process automation, and that's where we brought in intelligent document processing for extracting invoices. That kind of added a little more complexity and value. And today, I would say we are at 3.0 version of automation with the advent of agentic AI, which is more of driving agency, right? Which also opens a lot of skepticism in the industry that what should be the ROI, and is RPA dead? I would say no, RPA is under the hood. It's the bedrock of a successful agentic AI, and then agentic AI with the LLMs, and then bring it down into small language models and all these jargons helps to automate and create that agency and help solve complicated business problems. So it has been a journey, and look forward to hear more from you on that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, Abhijit. So Abhijit's given us a background of the evolution of automation, AI. It's been a journey. So automation 1.0 was RPA. 2.0 we infused some bit of automation, but it's still some bit of AI into automation, but it's still kind of was very deterministic, right? Now in 3.0, this is the holy grail. We're still trying to figure out what is the best way of doing this. And I'll speak from experience here. It is not easy. If somebody were to come and say this, that we just have to go and get AI into the enterprise, let's just go buy some licenses, let's just go hire a bunch of consultants, and it will all get done because the board wants it done, is probably not going to happen. And this is reason why 95%, and I think there was a study which said 95% of AI projects fail. And why do they fail? They fail because we're going in, because we're doing AI because we want to bring in AI, right? It's not because it is driven by efficiency. It's not driven by end results, not driven by impact. And I think this is where I think people need to talk about this a little more. People need to understand this a little more, not be sold by the hype, not follow the hype cycle. Today, we are looking at some projects that have worked, and when we look at those projects that worked, the key is making sure that you're choosing AI, and making sure the AI is chosen because it actually brings value, right? If it doesn't bring value, you don't use AI. There are other solutions, like we talked about, the automation 1.0, the RPA to green screens probably should continue. You don't have to replace them. RPA 2.0, unless there's a compelling business case to move to AI, it should stay, right? And if you're a company that's brand new to this, you've not done 1.0, you've not done 2.0, you've not done 3.0, you should be looking at a solution that combines all of this together, and you have, there's RPA is probably best for systems that are very deterministic, but you need some kind of knowledge, so you can use some kind of generative AI. But in the end, all the actions are done by the RPA. Also, something not many people talk about is the cost of AI. We're probably at a time in history where AI is probably going to be the cheapest. Our friend Elon Musk just mentioned that there's going to be an AI slowdown. Why is there going to be an AI slowdown? Because there's not enough AI resources. There's not enough compute power. There's not enough cooling power. There's not enough electricity to run the data centers for everybody. And today, the enterprises have not really started consuming AI. It's still private individuals, people using AI as personal assistants. I think that's what the core of AI is being used today. But just imagine if enterprises start using this, there's going to be a slowdown. So we can't just push AI into everything. We'll have to look at it differently, and I think that's where we strongly believe that robotic process automation, the systems that can automate without use of AI, also have a place in the solution architecture in the AI powered enterprise. So, on that note, I'd like to bring in another guest to our show today. Is going to be a colleague of mine. She's been with our company for the last 5 years. Srigori Jumnalkar. I don't know if there's a drum roll here, but Srigori, welcome aboard. Srigori is also an MVP at Automation Anywhere, which is one of our partners. She is also a women leader in AI. She speaks at conferences. She's going to be speaking at one very soon. Welcome aboard, Srigori, and I'd like to hear a little bit about you. This is also very, very topical. We're kind of moving a little bit away from the RPA and AI stuff, but we'll talk a little bit about your experience, and especially about women in AI, and what you're going to be talking at a conference, and you already talked at a couple of conferences, but how women in AI affects you. What have you done, and how can AI help women entrepreneurs as well? So, Srigori, over to you.
Thank you for having me here, Vijay. You know how much I love working in tech, and you also know how much I love talking. So I think this is the best platform for someone like me, loving the podcast idea. And I think this is going to be a hit. So to introduce myself to everybody listening to this, I am Srigori Jimnalkar. I am a solution architect working deeply in automation, RPA, agentic AI. My work focuses basically on building intelligent systems that just don't automate tasks, but actually support decision making and business outcomes. I'm really passionate about, using AI that is usable, scalable, human centric, and I'm really excited to be here. I specialize in combining RPA with LLMs and agentic AI to move beyond the rule based automation into systems that can think, adapt, and orchestrate workflows. Today, automation isn't just about speed, right? It's about intelligence, it's about autonomy, it's about the trust. So I'm looking forward to see that shift happening, and it is already happening within when we started with this to what we are now. And it's also interesting how all of these platforms are now finally interacting with each other. When we started, it was just, oh, do we have automation anywhere? Do we have Microsoft Power Platform? And now with MCP being into picture, these can interact with each other. And I think for me, this becomes a huge opportunity to bring in multiple different platforms and see, okay, I'd look at this as a one big picture, and how do I bring it together? And to be a woman in this industry, to be here with this great exposure, I think I should be talking more about it, because I see my fellow colleagues asking me questions and saying, hey, how do you feel working in this industry? Let me tell you, it's amazing, right? The support I have gotten from Tangentia to grow and to be confident. I've always heard this from Vijay that, you have to put your best foot forward. So as a woman, it's important that we know our potential. We can think outside the box. We are known for being people who can work in multiple things. We are good for multitasking. So maybe at point when maybe you're missing a point in a business aspect, or missing a point on how to manage this resource, can this solution be built in a particular time? Is this available? Thinking ahead is, I think, one of our biggest forte. And being in technology helps a lot, because we are the forefront, right? We make decisions based on emotions, and that's what AI is lacking apparently, right? So we bring the human in AI, and I think I would be talking about it more in the session. I'm going to talk in a first ever session in Automation Anywhere, which is Women in Automation, which is celebrating women who work in tech, who contribute in tech. And we will be talking about a very particular a use case and a funny story. We were discussing on what is the use case that we should be talking about, what are the use cases that help women. But then I realized any use case is a women centric use case. So we took something really hardcore and we are going to talk about it and talk about how we built it. And I hope it will be inspiring to a lot of women and men to help women around them and make this successful. And I give this back to Vijay. And
Thank you, Shigari, and wish you all the best. And this is fantastic, right? So, Shigari, thank you for being there. Thank you for also kind of sparking a lot of inspiration with other women, inspiration with a lot of young people. And it's great to have you on Team Tangentia. It's also great to have you in North America. Helping a lot of our clients in North America. So great perspective there. I just will kind of move on to a bunch of other things. I mean, one is we're talking about today. People have come and said AI is expensive, right? AI is expensive. You got to buy a bunch of licensing, and we've been talking about this on our side. How can we make this more palatable, more consumable, wherein people are not going to have to invest a lot of time and effort into this? And we'll all chat with both of you here on this. So Tangentia is launching what we call the Tangentia Autonomous Enterprise AI. The Tangentia Autonomous Enterprise AI solution is enterprise AI as a service. This is something that people have been talking about, but very few people have done it, right? Very few people have been able to encapsulate AI, action agents, which is RPA, all of this together in a compelling package, which I am told starts at US dollars 999 per month, and this is enterprise scale. So this has security, it has scalability, it has all those things that you would expect from an enterprise AI solution, and it's available starting at 999 US dollars a month. And today we're going to chat a little bit about this. Are we too ahead of the curve? Are we launching something that people will think is crazy? We'll talk a little bit about this. I mean, are we crazy? Are we stupid? Are we brave? Or all of the above? So, Abhijit, I'm going to send this back to you here. What do you think? I mean, we're taking a brave, bold step in doing this. We want to thank our partners, Automation Anywhere, Microsoft, and a couple of others for helping us, put together the solution stack for this. We will cover the, managed services, security, all of that stuff as well. So, kind of wanted to know your thoughts on this as well.
No, absolutely, Vijay. So the whole idea of automation and AI as a service came from the idea, it was born from listening to our customers, right? And for over the past 10, 12 years that we have delivering automation across the globe for various sizes of the organization, one of the challenges we have seen is ROI and benefit realization, right? And that kind of always a very difficult situation the customers are in to justify the investments towards automation. And because of we keep our ears to the ground, Vijay, what we understood out of interviewing C-suite across North America especially is, especially now with AI, how you can justify the investment, get quick ROI and benefit realization, and accelerate their program, right? So essentially, what Tangentia is doing is we are driving ROI through taking the risk of providing that value to our end customers and packaged it together with software, services, that is project delivery, as well as steady state support, which is once you go live with our agentic AI and automation solution, we'll also kind of support it as a managed services, helping you focus on your main business. And we'll help the businesses to kind of get the project running and the solution running 24/7. So I'm excited about it. I think there is a huge demand, and I think that will kind of quite resonate with the businesses, especially who are looking to embark on their AI journey. Over to you, Vijay. Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you, Abhijit. So absolutely, I mean, it is definitely something that we've toyed around with. We've seen this. How do you make AI consumable? Also, fail fast. If you've got something like that, I mean, it's not working. You can cut your losses. Move on. It doesn't have to be huge investments. So it's almost as if and as you go through this, you can add AI elements to it, right? So this is where Shrigori, we're gonna come back to you. You're the solution architect. If I am a company that wants to kind of get AI, and not just AI today, the problem with AI is, and some people have kind of said it is almost become like a citizen developer model, right? Anybody can develop AI, but can anybody develop AI? And I have been in the IT business for almost 25 years, and we cut our teeth on supply chain, e-commerce, and there were times when we went to customers and said, it's going to cost you, a couple of $100,000 to build a website, and somebody on the other side said, we can build this, or my nephew can build this website for free, right? And maybe I got to buy him a burger and a beer, right? So, but why do companies pay for enterprise grade e-commerce, right? The reason is, the website, e-commerce website built with beer and burger probably will not sustain, will not scale, will probably be open to malware. It could be open to security risks. There could be a bunch of different things that can happen. So I think, yes, this technology is advanced. Open source has become quite a bit better. A lot of SaaS solutions out there, so the gap has reduced. I will give that to anybody making the other side of the argument. But still, enterprise grade solutions are built differently, and obviously there are some costs to it. So what we are trying to attempt to do is get enterprise grade AI. We make it available to people at at a lower cost, on a consumption model that they can actually consume, including customization, support, the human element that you talked about, Srigori. So from a solution architect level, what do you think? I mean, how do we get customers to look at this differently? How does the industry look at this differently as well? Because obviously, they have to kind of sign on to a partnership, right? They're not buying something off the shelf. They can do something. We're there. We're building this. We can add on additional AI agents. We can add on additional flows, and they pay all of this on a monthly basis. So you add on additional stuff. So just your view on that, Srigori. I mean, should customers look at this differently? How should consultants look at it differently? How should solution architects look at this differently? And what do you think of our Tangentia solution, which is the Tangentia Autonomous Enterprise AI?
So when I hear about the 999 enterprise AI package, RPA and AI package, my architect brain doesn't panic. It kind of contextualizes this, because AI is done, casually done for cheap, but AI done wrong is expensive. So when you pay and get this done professionally, you're not just paying for the tool, right? You're paying for the experience, the guardrails, the accountability. So a solution architect like me puts all that thought in place, and it doesn't just come out of, okay, I have all these tools, how do I use it, but how do I use it right? And since we've been in this industry for so long, we've worked with applications that do not even respond to automation, to applications that they're like smooth as butter. So you can throw anything at us and it will be a drawing board where we go back and work on it. So a professional setup like this ensures security, data boundaries, governance, a design that can scale. That's what Vijay is talking about. It can scale. And that's the difference between just a demo that impresses and does it for the sake of it, and a system that survives a real business case. Right. So I don't see it more as an enterprise scale. I see it as an enterprise ready. So it's a starting point. Definitely not the finish line. It's just a starting point. We start from here and where do we go? And what makes this smart, it lowers the barrier to the entry. There are companies that want to implement AI, but how do we enter it? Do we have the right resources? Do we have everything? But this, since we are offering this, we have everything in place. We have the smarts to build it, and we also have the word we call it jugaad, right? We know how to make use of the stuff that is already with you. Someone who cannot afford a full-blown AI setup can just pay for a small open AI and then implement it within RPA. We have the smarts for it. So I think the real value here is the clarity of the scope and how we can upgrade. And as a solution architect, I think it's a good plan and it's a good start. And I feel that it can get much better, since when we start this, we'll also come up with, okay, this is something they can do and this is something we cannot do. So far, I've known Tangentia has always thrown challenges at me, and I don't think we've ever failed at it. We've always come up with some plan in action. So as a developer, as a solution architect, I think it's a great plan, Vijay. More projects, merrier, the better.
Thank you. So the only thing is it's going to be tight. It's going to be done. So from our side, we got to make sure we have the right, guardrails, the right scope, because scope creep is something that we've seen, derail very good projects, because people think AI can do everything, and that's right there is a problem, right? We need to kind of curtail the use of AI to specific use cases, to use cases where we can actually monitor and kind of measure output as well. And I think this is great. So if we can do that, and Shrigori, thank you for kind of your vote of confidence in our strategic launch of this solution. And I think we're a bit excited. I think more companies are going to look at this and say, it's a risk-free way for us to get started with AI. It's a risk-free way for us to, dip our toes into AI and not kind of burn a lot of goodwill, burn a lot of money. And I've been talking to CIOs that said, we went and did this big project with a big consulting company with big AI budgets, and we have nothing to show. So he says the earliest they can actually go to the board to ask for more money is 3 to 5 years. Guess what? 3 to 5 years is going to be late. You will miss the boat if you're going to wait for 3 to 5 years. So I think what we're talking about is a quick way to get started. I mean, it's not the end, as you said, Shrigori. It is the beginning, but it's a right beginning. It's a beginning that has all the guardrails, the right, implementation methodology, the right, the frameworks, the right, bedrock. Somebody once talked about, a jar with stones, and the big stones go in first, then the smaller stones, and then you add, the sand. That's the way you can fill the most into a jar, and I think, and then you can add water in it as well. So I think here you need to get some of these big stones in place, and I think that's where we come in and we say we can get you some of these big stones, and then come in, and then you can add on the rest. Thank you everyone for watching the first ever Autonomous Enterprise Podcast with myself, Vijay Thomas, your host. And this is a Tangentia podcast. We're going to have many, many more of this. And we're going to talk about everything about building the AI powered enterprise. So stay tuned, follow us on YouTube, Instagram, all social media. We're going to begin with once every 2 weeks, but as we go along, we'll figure this out. We are probably going to have even more episodes. We're going to have guests who are leaders in their domains. We have leaders from the AI space, leaders from the enterprise space, and also leaders who are combining the two together to create the AI-powered enterprise. Thank you very much. And as in Canada, we say, keep your stick on the ice, which is, stay cool. In hockey, a lot of things happen, but keep your stick on the ice. And the last but not least, this is AN, is Atletico Nacional, one of the top teams in Colombia, in Latin America. And I am in Medellin. It is their hometown for Atletico Nacional. And if any of you guessed that early on, we will sure send a gift to you. So thank you very much for joining. We'll have many more episodes. Thank you, Sri Gauri. Thank you, Abhijit. And look forward to talking to all of you again. Thank you, guys. Bye.